All right, guys, we're going to discover the first quadrant of the unit circle. So this is the history behind it. We're just going to review what we've previously done before. And again, you can do this the quickest way, which is by calculator, by dividing by 180. And that would give you your answer of pi over 6, because the pi and the 180 cross out because pi is 180. And that's the fastest way. But I really want to build on this idea of these slices. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. We're going to take half a circle, which is 180, and we're going to break it down into slices of 30. If you break it down in slices of 30, you're going to have 6 slices, right? So each slice of the 6 is going to be worth 30, which means if I'm only looking for one slice, I'm only looking for a sixth of the pie. That's how I get pi over 6. And what I'm going to build everything from this 30. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier for us to catch. So let's look at 60 degrees. I know 60 degrees will be 2 slices, right? Because if each is 30, 2 of them are going to be 60. So that's going to be 2 over 6. You simplify that, it's going to be a third. So 60 degrees is pi over 3. 90 would be 3 slices, because 3 slices would be 30, 60, 90. Go ahead and simplify that. You'd get a half. So that would be pi over 2. 120, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So that'd be 4 slices. Again, 4 out of the 6 slices. That would simplify to 2 over 3. So that's 2 pi over 3. Going to skip the 135 because 30 doesn't go evenly into that. Let's go to 150. 3 goes into 15 how many times? 5 times. So that will be 5 slices. Okay, so 5 out of the 6 are possible that we have pi, and doesn't simplify. 180, 3 goes into 18 6 times, so we're going to have 6 slices. So 6 over 6, which will simplify to pi. 210. 3 goes into 21 7 times, so we have more than 6 slices, but that's okay. So it's still 7 pi over 6, and that doesn't simplify. So we're going to base everything off this 30 pi, but you can do bigger numbers too, but we're just going to focus on the 30. All right, 270, 3 goes in 27 9 times, so that's 9 pi over 6, but you can simplify that, which simplifies to 3 pi over 2. This is a listening check. Please color in the box 3 pi over 2. All right, let's take a look at 300. 3 goes into 30 10 times, that's 10 over 6. Go ahead and simplify that. You're going to get 5 over 3, so 5 pi over 3. It doesn't go into 315, so we're going to do, but it does go into 330. 11 times, so 11 divided by 6, that doesn't simplify, so 11 pi over 6. All right, and the rest of 15s, or rather ends in 5, those are going to be multiples of 45, so we'll start with 45. How would I split 180 into 45? Half is 90, half of that is 45, so it's in quarters. So 180 divided by 45 is 4 slices. Okay, so that means we're out of 4. So 45 would be 1 slice only. So that's going to be 1 over 4. So pi over 4. If you go to 90, well, we don't have a 90. You go to 135. So 45 plus 45 is 90, plus another 45 is 135. So those are 3 slices. So 3 out of 4 pi. If you go to 315, so again, we're just going to keep counting. Plus 45, plus 45. Plus another 45, plus another 45 until we get to, yep, that's the number we're looking for. How many slices is that? 7 slices. So 7 out of the 4 pi. Okay, so I hope this is a little bit clearer. But again, I'm just going to show you again with a calculator. So it's 30 divided by 180. And then you do the next one, 45 divided by 180. And then you do math, enter, enter. 60 divided by 180, math, enter, enter. 90 divided by 180, math, enter, enter. So you can check every single one to make sure that it is correct. All right, 135 divided by 180, math, enter, enter. It'll give it to you as a simplified fraction. So you can do this for each one to make sure that you're correct with the calculator. But again, it makes you a little bit faster if you can understand how to cut up the slices. But if you still don't understand that, it's okay. Just use a calculator. That's not a problem. All right. Let's do one more. 315. I did that one wrong. 300 divided by 180, math, enter, enter. So 5 pi over 3. 315 divided by 180, math, enter, enter. So 7 pi over 4. This is a listening check. Go ahead and color in 11 pi over 6. Okay, and you can actually check it backwards. So if you go in radians to degrees, remember pi is just 180, right? So if you just put in everything divided by 180, you'd get the answer in degrees. So 7 times 180 divided by 6 would give me 210. Okay, so you can go convert between radians and degrees in whichever direction. All right, so now let's build a unit circle. So there is a special circle and it has a radius of 1. So this is where this word unit comes from. So it has a radius of 1, which means the circumference is 2 pi times the radius, which is 1, which is equal to 2 pi then. Because 1 times anything is the same thing. All right, half of that will be you divide that by 2. So you take 2 pi divided by 2 will give you pi. And half of half a circle will be you take half a circle, which is pi, divide that by 2, which is pi over 2. And that is centered at 0, 0, which is also known as the origin. Okay, so all right, the circle on the right is called the unit circle because it has a radius of 1. So we're going to go ahead and label the quadrantal angles. Okay, that's the degrees from each quadrant in degrees and radius, starting from the extreme right and going counterclockwise. So let's go ahead and label the quadrants. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4, going counterclockwise, starting on that positive x-axis. So you're going to start at 0, then you're going to go 90 degrees, so that's going to be 90. Then you're going to go another 90 degrees, that's going to be 180. You're going to go ahead another 90 degrees, is 270. And finally, back to the original spot, which is going to be 360. Okay, so you do need to know what those are. 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Now we're going to write them in radius. So 0 is obviously 0. You can copy them from up there, but we're going to work it out. If I have the circle and split it in 2, that's going to be pi over 2. If I have a complete half a circle, that's pi. Now, if you can see these are in quadrants, right? So this is going to be 3 quadrants, so 3 pi over 2, because it's always in reference to how we split it originally, the half angle. And then, of course, 360 is 2 pi. All right, so we are going to learn these, so it's very important that you need to know that. All right, so let's talk about the coordinates in terms of x and y. Remember, the radius is 1. So if I was to go from here to the end of that circle on the right, it would be, I would go 1 in the x direction and not go up and down. Right, so I'd go 1 to the right and I'll go up and down. So that's going to be 1 and then 0. So that's x and then y. If I was going from here to there, that would be 0 in terms of x and up 1, so that's 1. This way will be negative 1, 0. Going down would be 0, negative 1. All right, so I'm just labeling the coordinates based on the radius being 1. All right, now let's take a look at the special triangles that we looked at already. This is why we needed to know them. So across from 30 is x, and the hypotenuse is 2 times x. So to get from the hypotenuse to the shortest leg, you divide by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So to get from the hypotenuse to the shortest leg, you divide by 2. So 1 divided by 2 is a half. Then, of course, to get this one, it's whatever the x is times radical 3, which is a half times radical 3. So at that point, in terms of x and y, you'd go a half radical 3, which is radical 3 over 2 simplified. And then in terms of y, you'd go up a half. That's how you write the coordinate for that point. Okay, let's do another one. So this one's a 45, 45, which means the x is exactly the same. And then to get the hypotenuse, it'll be x times radical 2. So they give you the hypotenuse, so then you'd need to go backwards. You would need to divide by radical 2 to get the x. So 1 divided by radical 2. But remember, you can't have a radical on the bottom, so you rationalize it. Times radical 2 times radical 2, which will give you radical 2 over 2. And remember, they're both the same, so that's going to be the exact same thing. So my x, starting from the origin, would be to go xy is radical 2 over 2. And then go up y, radical 2 over 2. So that's my x and y coordinate of that point on the unit circle. Finally, we're going to do another one. Find 30. Across from 30 is x. The hypotenuse is 2 times x this time. So given the hypotenuse, which is 2x, to get back to the x, we're going to divide by 2. I'm just going to write it down underneath the unit circle one for reference. So this is a listening check. When you're done copying this down, go ahead and shade that in for a listening check. All right, so that should be x, and then the hypotenuse is 2x. And then the longer leg is x radical 3. All right, so now they give you the hypotenuse. So they've given you 2x. To get to x, you just go divide it by 2. So what's 1 divided by 2? That's going to be a half on the bottom. And then take the x and multiply by radical 3. So 1 half times radical 3 would give me radical 3 over 2. So to write the coordinate down, you need to write x and then y. So x is 1 half, and then I go up radical 3 over 2. Okay, so we're building the unit circle. Now what you're going to do is take the 3 things you just did on this one, and we're going to copy them in here. Pause the video and try to do it on your own without even looking to the left. But let's do it together. 0, then 90, then 180, then 270, then 360. In terms of radians, you start with 0, Then 90 is pi over 2, 180 is pi, 270 is 3 pi over 2, and then 360 is obviously 2 pi. Now we're going to transfer the triangles into the circle. So starting with the flattest triangle, that's going to be 30 degrees. The next one would be 45 degrees from the positive x-axis, that is. And then the last one will be 60 degrees. So we do need to memorize these ones. All right, now you're just going to copy from the triangle the coordinates that we've already written down. So those were 1, 0, this was 0, 1. This is a listening check, color in -1. And this last one was 0 and then -1. And then copy those straight from the triangle so you can see the 31, the 45, and the 60. So 30 is going to be radical 3 over 2 and a half. The next one is going to be radical 2 over 2 for both. And then finally a half and radical 3 over 2. So we just built the first quadrant of the unit circle. Let's practice.